Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be putting in some new inner tubes. They are going into my GP. So we've got a front one and a back one. They're both made by Michelin or Michelin, depending on what you want to call it. And the two different valves are clearly shown on the side there. That's for the rear and that's for the front. I will explain as I go along. Now I've got a bigger tyre on the back than I have on the front. It's for gearing purposes, and the large one on the back is a, if I just put that there for a second, I'll show you it. It's a Heidenau, and it's a 190 by 10. It's just slightly wider and taller than a standard 350. It just changes the dynamics of the gearing. So what I'm going to do is take that one, which is the larger of the two tyres, and I'm going to stick in the valve, the inner tube. I don't know if I've beefed on about this before. That's one of my pet hates, where you know, people reuse old inner tubes. That's your life on the line again. And you know, by all means use one if that's what, you know, 10 quid means to you. It doesn't to me, so it means a lot more to be alive than it does to spend 10 quid. So what you've got is you've got a cutout. These are stainless steel, and the valve, if I turn it around a bit, the valve is a right angled valve and it goes through the hole. If you've never done this before, stick the valve stem through the hole and make sure it's home at a right angle, and then push your wheel in. Get your inner tube. You want to make sure that the inner tube does not get pinched by both of these halves. So I'll take the other half and stick it in, lining up the holes so the holes are lined up, and just push it home. And for this you need to put on nylocks. So you need a flat washer, again stainless steel, you know what I'm like, and a nylock. On the original ones they would have been white, but we're long past that, aren't we? I hope we are anyway. And push the bottom in, make sure I'm not tightening anything up yet. I'm just putting them on loosely, for the simple fact is I'm going to be putting some air in before I tighten them down. And we'll take another one on the side. I don't want the inner tubes pinched, because that's a recipe for disaster. And that side, another nylock, and we should be able to get a screwdriver and just poke it in, make sure that everything is clear. That's a bit wide, a narrow one will do. The trusted Lambretta one. And what I'm going to do is just tighten it up to pinch it. And again, just poke your screwdriver in to make sure nothing's caught. You can actually undo that a tad. Do these ones up a little bit more. And what I'm going to do is just undo the first one. better to put it there where you can actually see what I'm doing, or not. Just loosen that one off a little bit. As I say, nothing's tight at the moment, and what I suggest you do is just stick the valve on again, the valve cover. Right, that's our back one done. So just checking the tyre, 190/10. That's our back one with the square valve on it, and then we've got our front one which has got the angled valve. So if I undo that one, you can see that how that's angled. So again, I'm going to stick this in the tyre. The front one's a standard 350/10. So stick your inner tube back in again. Don't twist it at all. Put it in a circle. And again, we're going to put some air into this anyway. Probably preaching to those that already done hundreds of these in the past, like myself. But like I say, 1 or 2 years, change the inner tubes. It's going to save your life one day, or it could save your life. And again, we got the valve that's twizzled in there, so it'll give you some idea what I'm looking at. Then we'll get the valve side of the wheel, which is not that one, which is that one again. We've got the hole for the valve. Again, it's a stainless steel, and we'll stick the valve through that and stick our wheel on the rim. Just pull the valve through. You want the valve sitting basically as square on as you can get it. That's fine. And then we can sort of push that out of the way again, like we did with the other wheel. And again, I'm not tightening this up yet. We'll take our stud side. Got the studs in it, and align that there. And again, I'm not tightening anything up, but we're taking a flat washer again and putting our nylocks on again. As I say, originally they would have been white nylocks, but we won't hold that against Innocenti, will we? So, right, second one on. You should be able to screw them right up to the nylon, and that's another one. And I've got a compressor. You might have an air foot pump. You know, I'm lucky I can spray and what have you, so it's just tools I've bought over the years. But you probably might have a foot pump, so what you do is get your screwdriver again and just make sure that it's clear. Right, and just put the cap on again. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn on my compressor and get that ready to pump these tyres up. We're just putting some air in them to start, so I'll cut back in when that is charged up. The compressor's just kicked off, so we got a full charge. So like I'm saying, what I'm doing here is I'm just putting some air in. I'm not pumping them all the way up. Bear in mind that it's not clamped at the moment anyway, so I'll just try and support that on my knee for a bit. And just put some air in. Right, that will be enough air in there at the moment, in that one. I'm going to do the same with the front, so take the valve cover off. Hope you can see this. again stick on the, yeah, just put some air into it. That's probably enough in there again. What I want to do is just make sure that there's no pinch points, so I'll just stick in the, they need undoing a tad. So there's no inner tube stuck anywhere, is basically what I'm after. And they should just by putting your fingers to them, they should just close up, which they are. So I can go ahead and tighten that up bit by bit. So I'm going to start on here simply because it's the closest. You can pinch that if you want with your fingers first. There's no pressure on anything there. So just tighten it so it's done up. And this one the same. So do them diagonally again. What we want to do is make sure our valve is seated correctly. And then do the bottom one and then the top one. It did actually come with these dome nuts, but they're useless because you need them actually on the hub. You need to be able to tell the difference between a wheel and a hub, or you'll be taking off the wrong bolts, or the wrong nuts I should say. Right, so that's nice, it's all in, it's still free, I can squeeze it, pull up our valve, which is not actually anywhere near where it needs to be, but I can just turn them about a turn. That's it. Again, you do get a feeling for correct sort of pressures when you get used to it, and that's nearly in the right place. What I'm going to do is just going to let some air out of that. Don't want to lose that one. Because I'm not happy where the valve is. It's kind of hard to show, but that looks fine there at that angle. Yeah, that's in line now. So I'll stick on my pumper upper machine and put some air in. There we go. The valve is pushed out now nice, and I can move it around. And I'm going to do the front to about 30, 28 to 30. That'll do. stick the dust cap on, and you can see the sort of angle I'm after. That's perfect. And that's the front one done up. Now the back one is the same. I'm quite happy that they squeeze. They all squeeze, so I'm just going to let a bit of air out on that again. You don't have to let the air out, it's just me, bit by bit. That's fine. And that valve's nice and in line again. And we just need to tighten up our nylocks. See what I'm doing again on here is just pinching it with my fingers. I'm not putting a ton of pressure on, because you should be able to just squeeze up the two halves, because you're not squeezing any rubber inside that. And the last one more or less squeezed itself up anyway, so. And then we're going to do the, that was tight enough. Between 14 and 15 pounds square inch if you want to use a torque driver on them. That's tight. That's tight. Tight. And so is that. Then I'll get the valve again, make sure it's nice and out and sitting nice and high, and put my blower upper again on it. Put some air in. I think it's on its last legs to be too long anyway, but put your pumper upper back on again, whatever it is, foot pump or whatever. And the back ones I'm going to do to about 32. That'll do. So that's our front and back tyres pumped up, ready to go on the GP. We just need a bit of a wipe down, but you can see the angle of that. That's the back one, right angle. And just to go over the front one again, and the reason for the front angled one, if I turn you around a bit, when the wheel goes round you've got a fork bolt inside the forks, and what you want to do, if that was at a right angle, it'd keep hitting the fork. And I've had it on a scooter when I first got back into scootering. It just knocked off the top of that and started rubbing and rubbing and rubbing, and as you're going around it's going tss, 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 and letting a little bit of air out every single time. You just end up with a flat or a very low pressured front tyre. In my case it didn't destroy the valve, it made the tube obviously useless, because it rubbed away at the edge of where the screw is and the cap, and it was obviously leaking, and I changed it, and ever since then I've made sure that that's the front one. And if you're carrying a spare, always carry a front one like that, because it'll work on front and back. But the back one should be at a right angle. You can put both of them on if you want, and I have done in the past. With Vespers, you see, these bolts would be going through that way and the hub will be coming that way, so you could use the dome nuts on both sides. They are nylock dome nuts, but they're going to be used on the hub, so on front and back hub. So that's quite a, hopefully education for some people who've never done a wheel before, and a tube and what have you. And it's something I recommend, as I keep saying, every 2 years or so. Don't keep running with old inner tubes, it's just not worth it. The rubber does perish inside them, and a lot of water gets in here in the rain, And if you've got the old steel type original Innocenti wheels and Scooters India, they do rust and you get sharp edges inside, and it only takes a little bit of the pressure to go down in the inner tubes for them to rub. You could get a puncture or a blowout. So, but they're I'm quite happy with them. And the front one, I prefer a 350 by 10 size on the front. It just makes the steering a little bit lighter than the big wide tyres. And it's what you're used to, I suppose. So anyway, I'll end this now and catch me on the next one. Thanks for watching, and I do appreciate, like I keep saying, when you subscribe, and it does help to grow the channel. I don't want to keep saying it every video, but like I say, I do appreciate it. So stay safe, everybody. Catch you on the next one. Bye.